These 5 habits will help you fix 91% of your home buying problems. They will help you live a better life and might even help you find your dream home. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people buy their dream home, and I can tell you this, it's not by luck. I have found there are 5 key habits every successful home buyer needs to bring into their life in order to be successful in buying their next home. In this video, I will reveal those 5 habits and help you understand how that's going to help you with your home purchase. This first habit will not only help you buy your next home, but also make sure you are never house poor when you do. Like a pitcher warming up in the bullpen, always on the side, throwing the ball, getting ready to go in the game whenever called at a moment's notice. When you buy a home, you need to be in the exact same position. So to get into the bullpen, you must be financially sound or wise stewards of your income. If you create a habit of saving, I recommend 10% on a regular basis, then you will be more likely to understand what it takes to buy a home. If you can create a habit of saving 10 to 20%, if you can learn how to pay off your credit cards every single month and stay out of unnecessary debt, and quit pulling credit cards you don't really need. You don't need an RC Willey card or a Home Depot card or a Lowe's card. If you simply make wise financial decisions, you are going to be in the bullpen and ready to purchase when the time comes. One other quick tip, financially speaking, is learn how to save resources. So maybe instead of going to buy that $5 cup of coffee, save it for a rainy day. And that way, when you go to your home purchase, you're going to find you have a nest egg ready to put down on your new home. Habit number 2 is critical, and it comes just from an experience I had yesterday with a buyer. So it's timely and going to be an important habit to understand. Immediately when they give me a call for the sign, I can almost guarantee they're not working with an agent and probably aren't interested in working with an agent. That's fine and no problem with me. As we met, we started discussing the process of home buying and what they were looking for, what their goals were, and what their pre-approval was. They were very distant in the entire conversation. And understandably, they didn't want to show their cards to me as their agent, and they didn't want to tip their hand on what they want to do. No problem. But the problem was, as we got into their past history and what they were trying to go and accomplish, it was very evident they were not successful. So what do I mean by that? Well, 1 year ago, they'd been under contract on a new home. Interest rates went up. In fact, they more than doubled from when they went under contract initially at 2 or 3% and then went to 6%. But guess what? In that time frame, they decided they were going to cancel their contract, and they're actually in a worse position today than they would have been if they just would have pushed forward. Well, why did they make that decision to cancel the contract? Why did they get cold feet? Because they weren't connected to a professional. And even today, fast forward 1 year from that experience, and they're still trying to find that dream home. You guys, one habit you want to become an expert at is learning how to accept the advice from experts who have your back. If you work with an expert, I can guarantee you're going to make better decisions, you're going to have better information, and you can more confidently move forward on whatever your decision is. Either yes, I'm going to buy this house, or no, I'm going to hold off and wait. Doesn't matter to me what you do, but please learn to work and take the advice from experts around you. I recently was talking to a potential buyer. This buyer said, "Graham, I want to live in the city of Kaysville." I said, "That sounds awesome." Trying to understand more of their why, I asked him, well, why Kaysville specifically? He says, well, my kids have to go to Davis High School. I get it. That is one of the premier high schools in the state, and he wants to make sure his kids are connected with it. As I'm going through this discussion with him, I'm thinking in my mind, great, his kids are probably in junior high or late grade school, and they're going to be going to high school anytime in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, right? Well, come to find out, they had 2 kids, and both were under the age of 4. I want you to stop and think about this. He is making a plan for his kids to go to Davis High School, and really we're talking 12, 13, 15 years down the road. I want you to stop for a second. When you buy a home, one of the key habits you can learn is to plan in 5 to 10 year increments on your time frame. Do you know that the average home buyer stays in their home less than 8 years? Did you know that the median time people spend in their home is only about 11 or 10 years. So at the end of the day, if you're planning 15, 20, 30 years ahead, you're probably going to miss that goal because people don't stay in their homes that long. If you can start planning out your life in 5 to 10 year increments, You're going to be that much more benefited when you buy your next home. And you might say, well, Graham, why shouldn't I plan that far forward? Because things change. You might get married. You might get divorced. You might have 3 more kids when you're buying a house that can only fit 2. At the end of the day, it's important you just get into the game. Find a house that you can afford. Find a house that gives you the current things you need and are looking for. And then fast forward 5 to 10 years to make your next step. Tip number 4 is going to be crucial to understand. I recently talked to a buyer, and the buyer called me saying, Graham, I found the home of my dreams and I want to go see it today and I want to make an offer now. I said, that sounds awesome. Let's help you make that happen. So as I was discussing this process with him, I just connected with him, so I never had the full buyer consultation. But as I sat down with him and started discussing his home buying process and goals, it became quickly evident he was not ready to buy a house. Even though mentally he was there, financially he was not. Now I've already talked about the tip of getting your financial house in order. Well, he wasn't that far off on that. He was in a great position on his financial house as far as what he made per month, as far as what his debt was. But where he was not great on was his credit. So if you want to make sure you have the upper hand in buying a house, I want you to learn the habit of understanding your credit score, how to improve it, and how they use the credit score compilation to give you your home credit number. So for this buyer, when him and his wife wanted to buy, his wife actually didn't even have credit. So instead of being able to move forward on the home of their dreams, they had to push brakes on. And they had to slow down and make sure they could actually get the credit necessary to be qualified to buy a house. So it took him, instead of buying the house 2 weeks ago, we're now in week 3 and he's still waiting to get the credit up to make it happen. Just know when you work on your credit, it does take several weeks or months to get your credit going. So understanding your FICO credit score is critical. Number 2, how do you get your credit score up? Well, make sure you make wise purchases and you pay it off every month, right? It's not bad. In fact, it's great to use your credit card. Those who use cash only methods, you're going to be at a disadvantage when you come to home buying because they have to have a credit source to pull from. It can be a car, it can be an engagement ring, it can be all those different things, but make sure you have a credit line and then make sure you pay it off every month. Don't have a revolving credit that you never pay off. I know it sounds great to have, but it's not, because it will ding you on what your final credit score is. And why does credit score really matter? Well, because to buy a house, you need at least a 620 credit score. Now, if you're VA, you can be up to 580 and that's fine. But to get the best interest rate, it's all based on your credit. If you have a 620 credit, then you get this interest rate. If you have a 740 credit, you get this interest rate. I guess it's the other way around. You get this interest rate. You get a lower interest rate when you have a better credit score. And the last thing to realize is, how do they actually score my credit? Well, they actually take 3 separate credit bureau scores, and they take the middle number of those 3. So you might have a high, you're going to have a low, but that mid is what they're going to go with. Have you ever driven through a beautiful neighborhood and seen a house that sticks out like a sore thumb? You know what I'm talking about. It's got grass that's unkept and it hasn't been mowed for probably 3 months. The shingles are falling off the roof and the paint is peeling everywhere. Have you ever thought, how in the world did they let that house become like that? Well, the reality is, habit number 5 is all about taking ownership over your world. If you want to become ecstatic with your next home purchase, I'm going to encourage you to learn how to take ownership of the things that you can control. If you have a car, keep it up, keep it nice. If you're a student at school, make sure you finish your grades, do a good job taking care of whatever you can control in your world, and you're going to be that much more ready for home ownership. And you might say, well, how does that apply? Well, guys, it applies because a home is a living and breathing system. What I mean by that is things break all the time. It could be your AC, it could be your furnace. Things have to be kept up all the time. I have to mow my lawn every single week. I have to paint my garage when it starts to peel every other year. Whatever it is, you guys, home ownership requires maintenance. And if you want to be happy and thrilled with where you live, and when you sell, be super ecstatic about your equity that you gained in the home, make sure you learn how to take ownership or take care of the things that are within your control. Now that you know you won't stay in your home forever and you're going to move, let's focus on how you can control the controllables. Watch this video to find out how you can present and stage your home to sell for top dollar in today's market.